The question that shook the table. The dining hall on the Unity Blade was quiet, not because the food was bad. In fact, it was one of the best meals served this cycle. Crispy protein slabs, sweet starfruit, and soft glow noodles that pulsed with a warm blue light. No, the silence wasn't about the food, it was because of a single sentence. A sentence spoken by a human. Ladies first. That's what Lieutenant Marcus Lee said as he stepped aside and held the silver doorway open. It was meant to be polite. A small gesture. Nothing special. But for Tirana of the Zenthari, it was a question. A challenge. A warning. She stopped, walking and turned slowly to face him. Her sharp green eyes narrowed. Her pale violet skin glowed slightly, a sign of confusion or maybe insult. Her tail stiffened behind her long cloak and her metallic boots clicked on the floor as she stepped toward him. "Why?" she asked. "Why do females go first, human?" Marcus blinked. "It's just tradition." Tirana tilted her head. "Is it because you think we are fragile? Weak?" "No," he said quickly. "It's because we respect women." She folded her arms. "On Zenthari, females lead in battle. We are the strongest. We go first into war, not into rooms." Some of the nearby officers turned their heads. The room grew still. A few alien guests stopped chewing mid-bite. Marcus smiled calmly. "It's not about strength, it's about honor. Humans believe giving space, opening doors, offering the first plate. Those are signs of respect." Tirana stepped closer. "But that's not what I saw. I saw men saying it with a laugh. I saw boys using it to flirt. Is your respect only words?" Marcus looked thoughtful. "Sometimes, yes. Some people say it without meaning it. But that's not how I was raised." Tirana stared at him a long moment. Then she stepped through the doorway first, but not because he let her. Because she chose to. At dinner, she sat across from him. The table was round, with species from 10 worlds seated in silence. But the tension remained. Marcus picked up his drink. "You're really stuck on this, huh?" Tirana leaned forward. "Explain it to me, not with jokes, with truth." Marcus sighed. "Okay. A long time ago on Earth, men were expected to protect women. In war, in danger, in ships sinking into the sea." "Sinking?" "Yeah. Water accidents. Never mind. Point is, men would help women escape first. It became a rule. Ladies first. It meant protect those you value." Tirana raised an eyebrow. "Value? And are we only valuable if we are weak?" "No," Marcus said. "We value people who carry life, who heal, who teach. That includes women. It's not about weakness, it's about reverence." The Zenthari warrior stayed quiet, but something flickered in her eyes. Then a laugh came from 2 seats down. A loud barking laugh from a reptilian merchant. Humans and their silly customs. First their females, next their cats, then their plants. The room chuckled. Tirana's eyes turned sharp. She stood. The room quieted again. She pointed a finger at Marcus. "I challenge your custom. I do not understand it yet. So I demand proof." Marcus blinked. "Proof? Yes. You will show me what respect means in your world. If I remain unconvinced, I will call it hollow. Empty." Marcus looked around. Everyone was watching. He placed his fork down and nodded. "Fine. I accept." Later that night, Marcus sat alone at the viewing window. Stars drifted by. Ships passed. Like shadows in the dark, Tirana entered the room and stood beside him. "You're not like most humans," she said. "Because I held a door?" "No. Because you looked me in the eyes when I questioned you. You didn't laugh. You didn't run. You listened." Marcus chuckled. "Well, you had a point. Not everyone uses that phrase the right way." She nodded slowly. "I want to see how your people treat those they value. Not in halls or dinners. In life. In fear. In crisis." Marcus turned. "You want to know why we say ladies first? Then come with me." Tomorrow we visit Earth's history files and maybe you'll see the whole picture. Tarana tilted her head. And if I still don't believe it, then I'll step aside, he said, because real respect isn't forced. The culture clash. The next morning, Tarana wore a quiet expression, not angry, not amused, just focused. She followed Marcus Lee through the long halls of the Unity Blade, her boots clicking softly behind him. She had accepted his offer. She would learn about this respect humans claim to show females. But she wasn't here to nod and smile. She was here to judge. Marcus took her to the Central Archive Dome, a large room with floating screens and glowing blue panels. The AI assistant greeted them and brought up old Earth videos, photos, and memory files. First, Marcus played a scene from a ship disaster. Humans in old-fashioned clothes stood on a sinking metal boat. The captain shouted, "Women and children, first." Lifeboats were lowered. Men stepped back. Tarana leaned in. They stood still and let others escape? Marcus nodded. Even when they knew they might die. Tarana watched a man wrap a coat around a woman and push her into the lifeboat, smiling as water rose behind him. She whispered, "Strange. On my world, that would be weakness. To us, it's courage," Marcus said softly. Next, they viewed footage from a war zone. A human soldier carried an injured female medic on his back, even while enemy fire rained down. He shielded her with his body. Later, he died. Tarana clenched her fists. Why not let her die? She was wounded. Slower. Marcus didn't smile. Because he valued her more than himself. Tarana stayed quiet for a long time. But later that day, everything changed. Tarana followed Marcus to the crew cafeteria, where humans and aliens shared tables and meals. She sat at the back and watched. A young human male held open a door for a female. She rolled her eyes. He winked. "Ladies first," he said with a grin. Tarana narrowed her eyes. Another pair stood in line. The male cut ahead of the female, then tossed her a half-eaten snack. "You're welcome." Tarana's tail twitched. She stood up and approached Marcus at his table. "You said your people value females, but I saw a boy mock a woman with your words. I saw another ignore the rule completely. What kind of respect forgets itself when it's not convenient?" Marcus sighed. Not everyone understands what those words really mean. Some just repeat them. Some pretend. Tarana's voice sharpened. Then it is hollow. A false tradition. No honor. He met her gaze. But some still mean it, like the man on the boat, the soldier in the smoke. She crossed her arms. Prove it's not rare. Later, Tarana began asking questions. She walked the station, speaking to human crew members. Why do you let females go first? The answers varied. It's polite, I guess. My mom told me to do it. I thought it would impress her. Few said the word respect. Fewer still said honor. She spoke to female officers. Do you feel protected by this rule? Some smiled. Sometimes, when it's real. Others rolled their eyes. It's outdated. We can open our own doors. Tarana felt conflicted. Her thoughts spun in every direction. That night she returned to the training deck. She stared at the sparring dummies, fists clenched. Marcus found her there. You don't look convinced, he said. I'm not. She turned to him. You use respect like a uniform. Wear it when it's clean, throw it off when it's messy. That's not true for all of us. No, she admitted. But it is for many. He stepped closer. What about you? How do Zenthari show respect? We bow to the strong, she said. We fight before we speak. We protect our leaders, not because they are male or female, but because they've earned it. Marcus nodded. I respect that. She blinked. Why? Because you believe in something, even if it's different from me. She walked away but stopped at the door. Tomorrow, she said, we go to my world. Marcus looked up. Why? To see how we treat each other, where females truly go first. She paused, but not to be served. To fight. Marcus raised an eyebrow. What kind of fight? Tirana turned, eyes cold but curious. A Zenthari welcome. Warrior games and broken protocols. The shuttle entered Zenthari space like a silver needle cutting across the dark. Marcus Lee stood at the window, watching a massive green and purple planet grow larger. Its rings spun slowly like a dancer's. Ribbon. Behind him, Tirana tightened her armor. You look nervous, she said, checking her twin energy blades. I'm visiting a planet where females strike first, Marcus replied. I think nervous is fair. Tirana smiled slightly. Good. It means you'll survive longer. As they landed on the surface, Marcus felt the air shift. Literally. Zenthari's gravity was heavier, and the wind carried a strange electric tingle. A crowd gathered as Tirana stepped off the ramp. The warriors bowed their heads to her. She was known here not just as a soldier but as a clan daughter of Clan Visha, the bloodline of fire and blade. Marcus followed her, trying not to trip in the thicker air. Whispers rippled through the crowd. A male walks behind her? Human? Why is he not kneeling? Tirana raised her voice. This is Marcus Lee. He has questioned our way with respect, so he shall see it for himself, in our arena. That evening, Marcus stood inside the arena of first strikes, a huge dome of stone and metal with thunder drums beating above. Spectators watched from high seats, cheering and chanting. Tirana wore ceremonial armor, glowing with green patterns. Across from her stood a Zenthari female warrior, taller, broader, and already swinging a double blade. Tirana turned to Marcus. You asked why our females go first? Watch. The horn blew. The challenger moved first, fast and sharp. Tirana didn't dodge. She blocked, then attacked with a spinning counterstrike so fast it made the crowd rise to their feet. She disarmed her opponent in 8 seconds. Marcus blinked. That was beautiful. No, she said, breathing hard. That was earned. Later, Marcus sat at a long table in the warrior hall, nursing a sore arm. Somehow he had been volunteered for a friendly match. The warrior had thrown him halfway across the mat. Now Tirana sat across from him, eating calmly. You didn't laugh when I fell, he said. I don't laugh at effort, she replied. That's respect. He thought for a moment. On Earth, we respect others by protecting them, holding doors, giving them comfort. And on Zenthari, Tirana said, we respect them by trusting their strength, even if it means they bleed. Marcus looked down. Then maybe both our ways are missing something. She paused. Explain. He pointed to the warriors laughing and celebrating in the hall. You honor strength. But what about those who can't fight? The sick? The children? What respect do they get? Tirana was silent. He continued. Sometimes it's not about who goes first. It's about who gets left behind. That struck her deeply. The next morning, Tirana walked Marcus through the training fields. They saw young girls practicing blade forms, old warriors meditating, and battle-scarred elders teaching the next generation. But something strange caught her eye. A group of young warriors mocking a smaller girl. You'll never fight, one said. You cry too easily. Tirana's face turned hard. She stepped in, silencing the room. Who taught you that a blade decides respect? She said. Who told you only strength matters? The room froze. She knelt beside the small girl. What's your name? She asked softly. The girl whispered, Sira. Tirana smiled. Then today, Sira, you go first. She handed her a training blade and stepped aside. That evening, Tirana sat alone at the edge of the cliffs. Marcus joined her, holding 2 mugs of warm root spice tea. He offered her the first cup. Ladies first, he said. This time she didn't question it. She took the cup and sipped quietly, then said, Marcus, maybe we both had it wrong. He looked at her. Maybe going first isn't about strength or softness, she said. Maybe it's about giving someone the space to matter. He smiled. That's what we try to say. She nodded. Then maybe I understand now. The rescue at Station 9. The ship flew through darkness at light jump speed, stars blurring past like rivers of light. Marcus sat beside Tirana in the small cruiser. Neither of them spoke, until the alarm blared. Distress signal received. Source: Station 9. Civilian transport under attack, multiple life forms in danger. Marcus leaned forward. Station 9? That's near the Zenthari border. Tirana checked the console. Her face tightened. That station is owned by my people. Cargo hub. Non-combat zone. Then we should help, Marcus said. Tirana didn't answer. Marcus frowned. What's wrong? She looked at him slowly. Zenthari law is clear. Foreign ships cannot intervene unless invited by a clan elder. If we move without permission, I break the code. Marcus stared. There are people dying, Tirana. Civilians. Do laws mean more than lives? She looked away. The silence between them felt heavier than space itself. In the next few minutes, Tirana contacted her home command. The answer was cold. Stand. Down. The station is not under direct clan protection. Interference will be punished. Let the emergency forces respond. But Marcus knew they wouldn't reach in time. He looked at her. I'm going. Tirana's eyes widened. You'll be violating their space. Then punish me later, he said. Right now I'm human first. Marcus suited up and boarded a small fighter. Alone, he flew toward the coordinates. The station appeared on his screen, smoke pouring from the upper ring, escape pods drifting into the void, and flashes of blaster fire near the docks. Inside, families huddled. Workers cried out. A young alien girl screamed as flames moved closer, and Then, the airlock opened. Marcus ran in, shield raised, 1 blast, 2. He didn't shoot back. He shielded the civilians and pulled them toward safety. One injured Zenthari elder reached for help. Marcus picked him up, carrying him across a collapsing bridge, coughing through smoke. In the command room, a security camera flickered, showing everything, and Tirana watched it in silence. Back on the cruiser, Tirana stood frozen in front of the screen. Her warrior instinct screamed at her to obey, but her heart was no longer silent. She grabbed her blade. Spoke one word. Launch. Moments later, her ship blasted toward the station. Inside, Marcus was trapped behind a cargo door, shielding 2 children from falling debris. His arm bled. His shield was cracked. Just when the door was about to fall, a sharp flash of green energy tore through the metal. Tirana stepped through the smoke, blade spinning. The pirates backed away. Touch them again, she said, and I will show you how Zenthari females go first. Together, she and Marcus cleared the corridor. They reached the last airlock just as the structure began to fail. Marcus helped the injured onto the evac ship, then turned to Tirana. You broke your law, he said. I followed something higher, she replied. Hours later, aboard the Unity Blade, Tirana stood in front of a Zenthari council broadcast. The elders looked down at her through glowing screens. You violated sacred protocol, one said. You acted without order. Tirana stood tall. Yes, and I would do it again. Why? She looked at Marcus, then answered, because sometimes going first means taking the blame, and that's the kind of respect I finally understand. The moment she understood. The med bay was quiet. The lights were dimmed. The only sounds were the soft beeps of the machines and the slow, steady rhythm of breathing. Marcus Lee lay in the recovery bed, still and pale. His left arm was wrapped in thick bandages. There were burns on his side. He hadn't spoken since the rescue. Tirana sat beside him, armor removed, her long braid undone and draped across her shoulder. She wasn't used to silence. She wasn't used to waiting. But now, she couldn't leave. She stared at him, eyes sharp but soft, confused but calm. He went back, she whispered, after I told him not to. No one answered. She lowered her head. He knew I was afraid. He knew I wouldn't break the law. But he broke the rules anyway, just to save people who weren't even his own. She closed her eyes for a long moment. I thought strength was shown in combat, in titles, in power. Her voice cracked. But Marcus showed me something else. Flashbacks played in her mind. The old footage. Humans letting women and children escape first, standing, still in danger. Marcus in the arena, facing stronger warriors and never striking first. Marcus in the burning station, carrying wounded strangers while bleeding himself. Marcus reaching out to her, not with pride, but with peace. She clenched her hands. I mocked your ways. I thought they were shallow. I thought you were weak. She looked at him again. But now I see. Your silence had more strength than my shouting ever had. A soft sound broke the moment. Marcus shifted, his eyes fluttered open, slowly adjusting to the light. Tirana. She leaned forward. I'm here. He smiled faintly. Still arguing with everyone? Her eyes glimmered. Not tonight. He coughed weakly. You stayed? I couldn't leave. Why? She hesitated, then said softly, because I finally understand what you meant. He blinked slowly. About what? She looked at him fully now, her proud face quiet, her warrior heart open. When you said ladies first, I thought it was about putting us in front to protect us. It was, he said. But I see now, it's also about stepping back, so someone else can shine, so someone else can feel seen. That's not weakness, Marcus. That's strength through humility. Marcus smiled, eyes heavy. I knew you'd figure it out. Tirana nodded. And now I have something to say. He looked up at her. She stood slowly, her voice calm, clear, proud. From this moment forward. If anyone asks me why humans say ladies first, I will say, because their strongest warriors don't need to be in front, to lead. She turned to walk out, then paused at the door, looked back, and said something she never thought she would. Thank you for letting me go first, so I could learn how to follow. Changing the order. The hall of Clan Vesha was filled, with firelight and silence. Zenthari warriors stood tall along the stone walls, each holding a ceremonial blade. Elders sat on raised platforms, their armor shining in crimson and gold. At the center stood Tirana, bareheaded, without weapons. It was the first time she had returned since the rescue at Station 9, and this time she didn't come to fight. She came to speak. You broke sacred order, one elder said. You acted without command, another added. You chose a human way, over ours. Tirana didn't flinch. Yes, she said. I did. Murmurs rose. Warriors exchanged glances. The lead elder leaned forward. Then explain yourself. Tirana stepped into the firelight. I was taught that we, the females of Zenthari, go first in all things, in battle, in duty, in honor. But I never asked myself why. She looked at the watching warriors, until I met a human who stepped back, so I could stand forward. Not because I was strong, but because he believed I mattered. The elder frowned. That is weakness. No, Tirana said. That is choice. She took a breath. A choice to let someone speak, to let someone rise, to protect, not with a blade, but with trust. She walked to the center of the room and did something unthinkable. She bowed, but not to the elders, to the youngest warrior standing near the back, a girl named Sira, the same girl who had once been mocked for being too small to fight. Tirana raised her voice. Today I change the order. I no longer believe respect is only for those who strike first. Today, I give it to those who need to be seen first. She pointed to the girl. Sira. Come forward. The room gasped. Elders stood. This is not our way, one shouted. It is mine now, Tirana said. The head elder rose slowly. You risk exile. I accept it, she said. Because what I saw in the human custom is not softness, it is sacrifice. And I will not shame myself for learning something greater. Back on the Unity Blade, Marcus sat in the recovery lounge, now mostly healed. News broadcasts buzzed around him. Zenthari warrior challenges old laws. Human tradition sparks interplanetary debate. Ladies first, now a symbol of peaceful strength? He shook his head and laughed softly. Only Tirana could turn one sentence into a revolution. Later that day, she returned to the ship, wearing no title, no armor, no symbols. She walked into the hallway, where Marcus waited, leaning on the wall. She paused in front of him. You stood back for me, she said. He nodded. She smiled. Now it's my turn. She stepped aside, held the door open and said it, not with sarcasm, not with pride, but with meaning. Ladies first, human. Marcus walked through, shaking his head, smiling. A new beginning, for two worlds, the stars above the Unity Blade shimmered like soft lights on dark velvet. Inside the training deck, Zenthari warriors and human cadets stood in a circle, watching something no one had ever seen before. Tirana stood in the center, blade in one hand and a worn human training staff in the other. Across from her stood Sira, the young Zenthari, girl she once defended, but now, Sira held her own weapon. The duel began. Sparks danced, feet moved, but this was not a fight of hate. It was a dance of respect. Tirana struck first. Sira blocked. Then, Sira moved forward, not to win, but to rise. Marcus watched from the observation room. He smiled. These were not enemies, not strangers, not rivals. These were two souls from two worlds, learning from each other. And it all started with one small, confusing question. Why? Do females go first? Later, the Council of Interplanetary Cultures released a new report. Zenthari have added a new rite to their tradition. It is called the Step of Trust. In it, the strongest must step aside, so others may rise. This does not replace their old ways, it completes them. And next to the report was a picture. Tirana holding a young human girl's hand, opening a door for her. Smiling. Proud. On Earth, young girls began watching Zenthari duels. On Zenthari, warriors began reading about Earth's peaceful leaders, nurses, teachers, mothers, and quiet heroes. What once was confusion became curiosity. What once was pride became partnership. In a quiet part of the ship, Marcus found Tirana sitting by the viewing window. He joined her. No words, just stars. Until she spoke softly. Do you think we changed anything? Marcus took a breath. I think we changed ourselves. And that's how the galaxy changes too. Tirana smiled faintly. I used to think going first made me stronger. Now I think knowing when to step back makes me even more. Marcus raised his mug. To the new way. Tirana raised hers. To both ways. Together. As the ship drifted toward a new world, a message blinked on the console. Training request received. Interworld Academy Program. 2 mentors requested by name. Tirana of Clan Vesha, Marcus Lee of Earth. Tirana looked at him. He looked at her, and they both stood, side by side, not ahead, not behind, just together. And so, the question that once divided 2 minds became the answer that brought 2 worlds together, not because one went first, but because both finally walked forward as equals.